Hovermale, host for Pacifica Currents. Today, we have three knowledgeable guests talking to us about native plants in Pacifica. We have botanist Toni Corelli. Welcome, Toni.
Thank you.
And state park volunteer, Avis Boutell. Welcome, Avis. Hi. And another state park volunteer, Nancy Frost. Welcome, Nancy. You're doing a book on the native plants in not just plant communities, actually, in San Mateo Coast. So do you want to tell us a little bit about this project you're working on?
Sure. I live on the San Mateo Coast, and I saw a need for a book about the plants of the San Mateo Coast, and it happened that...
Well, we all came together. Nancy and I, as state park volunteers, speak with visitors and other volunteers all the time, and they would ask questions about plants they had seen and how to identify them, and we couldn't find a really good book for San Mateo County. So
we have heard about Toni and knew that she had done some books, and we hadn't done anything like that, so we met Toni and we talked, and we found we had a mutual interest in doing this project, something she wanted to do and something we saw a need, and that led to us putting something together.
I have to say, when I have gone hiking, I've wanted to know. You walk along, you see a plant, and you go, what is that? And you want to know, and it'd be so handy to have a book to look it up.
So for the past 2 years, we've been going out in the field to the public lands, and we have just published this book, Plants and Plant Communities of the San Mateo Coast, with photographs of our 110 most common plants that you'll see along the San Mateo Coast. It's amazing that we live here in such a small sliver of land, just 60 miles long, the San Mateo Coast, with so much public land. We've documented over 600 different plant species so far in various plant communities.
And just in the sliver, so it's
west of one.
West of one. So just in that
west of Highway 1.
100 plants.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are non-native plants. About 1/3 of them are non-native and 2/3 native.
Well,
So
I was going to ask that, because you always wonder when you're walking along, was that here a long time ago, or is it new and introduced? You wonder that.
Mm-hmm. So someday we'd like to have a bigger book with all 600 plants in it, so that's our goal. And we were able to do this amount in 2 years, so it's very gratifying.
Oh, that's fantastic. Great, great.
And the books will be going on sale at the state park stores in Half Moon Bay, at Pigeon Point Lighthouse, and down at Año Nuevo.
Okay,
So.
great. And when is that happening? Soon?
Oh, I hope by the end of the month.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
It's
Good.
at the printer now.
Oh, good.
It's at the printer.
Great.
And one of the things about this book, the sponsor for the book is the San Mateo Coast Natural History Association, which is a nonprofit organization that supports the local parks in San Mateo County along the coast. And all the proceeds from this will go to support our parks, which right now we all need a lot of support.
Right, so you buy a book and you help support the places you get to see these wonderful plants.
That's right.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. So you said 1/3 of the plants are non-native. Is there anything happening that's going to help get rid of those plants, or are they okay plants to have?
Some of them are pretty invasive, and there are restoration efforts going on that help eliminate the real invasive ones that are taking over so much of the natural habitat. There's several websites, which we'll be talking about at the end, where people can go to get involved in different restoration efforts all along the San Mateo Coast.
Okay, great. Now, do you have more pictures for us today?
Yes, we're going to be taking you on a virtual tour when we start, and we're going to be showing you, I think, about 50 different plant species that you're going to be seeing in 3 local areas.
Oh, great, great.
We will be taking you on a virtual tour of some of the places we are going to be visiting in Pacifica. We're going to be going to Pacifica State Beach, Pedro Point Headlands, and Rockaway Headlands.
When you first look at Pacifica State Beach from a distance, it looks bare, but as you get closer, you begin to see the color and shape of the dune habitat. It's much used recreational beach, not the sort of place you would expect to see such diversity. A rich habitat for insects, birds, and other animals. These are some of the plants you will see.
The sandy soil has little water holding capacity, very little nutrients, and the plants are constantly exposed to blowing sand, salt spray. These plants are highly adapted to survive in these conditions. Notice the gray leaves of some of the next few plants. The leaves are covered with dense hairs that help retain what little moisture they have available to them. The hairs also keep the plants cool by trapping water droplets from the fog. The white color helps reflect direct sunlight.
I took many of these pictures of flowers on a sunny, warm morning in July. There were insects of all types, butterflies, bees, and wasps, flying from flower to flower, feeding on the nectar and pollen and pollinating the plants in the process. The dunes are a very rich habitat for insects because some of the native plants are in bloom every season of the year.
The beach primrose, for example, mainly flowers in the spring. However, a few plants can be found flowering most of the year. Like the primrose, many of the dune plants are very low growing.
Many of the plants, like the yellow sand verbena, have thick, leathery leaves, as shown here, that store water. Many of these plants also have a deep root system that keeps them in place in the shifting sand. Their large root system also helps them retain moisture and nutrients.
The beach strawberry grows from a short, thick rootstock anchored to the ground by wiry, tough roots that help stabilize the sand. Rodents and many species of birds eat the small fruit. The cultivated strawberry that we grow today was developed in the 18th century from our beach strawberry and the Virginia strawberry, a wild strawberry native to the East Coast.
The seaside daisy grows in many different habitats along the coast. It is also used in cultivated gardens. It blooms from early in the spring until late summer, sometimes into fall. The seaside daisy provides food for both larval and adult stages of many different types of butterflies. The beach morning glory is another example of a dune plant with thick and leathery leaves and a deep taproot. It is very salt tolerant and can grow closer to the ocean than many other dune plants. Its low spreading growth keeps out the wind and helps it stabilize the dunes.
The coastal gum plant gets its name from its buds, which exude a white, sticky substance that inhibits animals from eating them before they flower. This showy plant blooms from summer into fall when many other plant blooms have faded. The bright yellow flowers are attractive to many insects.